Well, that turned out to be my motel for last night. You know, it's hard to find a motel on the Trans-Canada Highway in the summer months. A lot of these motels are booked up. So if you're out there, guys, and you need to find a motel to get into, you should book at least a couple of days ahead, because I found a lot of the motels are already booked come 5 o'clock trying to find a place if you're traveling along the Trans-Canada Highway. Anyway, I am on the road this morning. I'm still up in the same area that I was last week for last week's video. Last week I rode the North Channel of Georgian Bay. Today I'm going to ride a little area that's outside of Little Current, Ontario, on the lake. And this is a famous area. It's called Baie Fine. And I'm going to ride this area across an open bay, and then there's this long channel that goes down an inland passage, and there's a pool at the end of this channel. And that's where I'm going to ride to today. So that is coming up in just a bit. I'm going to launch from a place off the road on the way to Little Current. I've just packed up the truck from everything from last night, got everything recharged overnight. So I don't even know the town I'm in. I'm just in a little town off the Trans-Canada Highway. There's a coffee shop up the road. I'm going to grab one of those before I head out. And then we're going to get this baby in the water at a place called McGregor's Landing. That is where I'm heading to today. So okay, I think we've got everything from the hotel, the motel room, into the truck. Let's get this show underway. Here's a toonie.
Okay.
All right. Got to get that coffee first thing in the morning. Okay, we got the coffee. Just waiting for the food. And then we got to drive down the highway about 20, 30 kilometers or maybe a little bit more to the launch point. My plan is to get to this place, which I've never been to before, and I've already phoned them and checked that, yeah, you can do the launch and storage and leave the trailer there and all of that. I think it's $35, $40. I'm not 100% sure. We're going to find out in just a couple of minutes, but it's a turnoff from this road, which is the road down to Little Current and Manitoulin Island, and we're going to turn off here, and we'll be at McGregor's Landing in just a couple of minutes. Let's take a little look. It's a bigger operation than I thought. It's where's the launch? Oh, it looks like the launch is maybe down that way. Yeah, it's a good size marina, bigger than I thought it was going to be. And yeah, the boat ramp is just down over here. Let's have a quick look at it. You can get fuel here as well. And the launch is right here. And a place to tie up right along there. That looks good. Yeah, this looks like no problem. Beautiful wood boat. So that was $38 here to park, launch, and leave the trailer for the day. If you just left it overnight, it'd cost, she said, $38. So that's not too bad. It's a decent facility. So $38 in and out, and parking for the day. I'm gonna get the cameras set up now, get all the cameras onto the Sea-Doo, get all that hooked up. And this guy's about to go in the water. I'll probably be number 2. Long dock. All right, let's get a few things set up here before we head out. Let's just move out into the bay, get away from the dock a little bit, and I'll get a couple of things set up. Oh, I didn't need to bring that cover, I guess, but I did. Let me just run over the plan for today. I'm gonna have about 6 hours maybe on the water today. The plan is to go from here, McGregor's Landing, down towards Baie Fine. Baie Fine is this long, narrow fjord kind of channel that we're going to ride down to the very end. There's a lot of history to this thing. It's one of the spots that everybody comes to in this area. Baie Fine is B-A-I-E-F-I-N-N, I think. That's how it's spelled. And then from there, we're going to have a look down there. Then from there, we're going to come back out that same channel. And then we're going to ride down, I think, to Killarney, the town of Killarney. We're going to go down there and have a look around to see what's going on there. And then we're going to make our way back up here to McGregor's Landing, pull the boat out later this afternoon, and drive 5.5 hours back to Toronto area. So that's going to be kind of a long day today. Spent the night in a motel last night in this area. And today's ride is going to be nice, I think. The sun is coming up. It's supposed to be fairly calm out there all day today. And the sun is just breaking through some of that gray stuff up top and starting to poke out a bit. So let's get things underway and let's make this trip happen. I've got the GPS plugged in. I've set up auto guidance to get me over to the area where that inlet is, the Baie Fine. So we're gonna get over into that area. We'll follow the guidance till we get over there. Yeah, it's really quite nice. I think it's supposed to be about 23, maybe 24 degrees today. So it should be quite nice out here. This, by the way, saves about 10 kilometers or so on the trip that I'm gonna do, instead of going from Little Current, the other town further down. I launched from here just to make it a little bit easier and a little bit shorter. Now, because I've never been here before and there could be rocks and shoals, I'm going to take it a little bit easy going through here just until I know where the heck I'm going. Because I can already see rocks up there in front of me, and I think I gotta hug the side of the shore that way. We'll see. Okay, I think we're set. Let's go. Just a little shot of the shoreline here. Boy, there's some good firewood right there. Hey, look at all that pile. And some sand beaches all the way along here, which is kind of nice. Bit of sticks in the water, so we'll come out a little bit. But yeah, it's nice to see some sandy beaches along this area. I think where I'm going, down that bay, Baie Fine, it's pretty rocky both sides all the way down. I've been down there once or twice before over the years. It has been a few years since I've been down there, but it's a beautiful, beautiful trip. And today, if it stays nice and calm like this, it's going to be absolutely fantastic going down there. But it's rock for the most part on both sides of that fjord. They call it a fjord. I'm not sure I call it a fjord, but that's what they label it as. So I'll show you when we get up there. It's a little ways up. We got to go out across kind of an open bay of water up here, go up a little ways, and then we make a left turn and we head into the entrance to Baie Fine. So yeah, just very still this morning, nice and calm. Just beautiful out here. So it really doesn't take that long. It was about a half an hour to get across that bay and then get up here to just about the entrance of Fraser Bay and the Baie Fine channel. Still fairly calm. A little bumpy coming across the big bay, but other than that, it's still glassy out here. The sun is just beautiful this morning. So this is right at the entrance to Baie Fine now. There's a lodge here right at the entrance before you start going down the channel down to Baie Fine. And I think it's called the Okeechobee Lodge. It's a place you've got to have reservations for. That's it there. They've got cabins up in the back, that sort of stuff. But you got to make a reservation to get in here. They don't take just sort of day walk-ins from a boat. It's kind of isolated, so they've got a bit of a place here for docking, tying up, stuff like that. But a lot of these people are kind of self-contained on these boats, so they make the passage like these guys are here, like this guy is here. They're all going down the far end of Baie Fine, and will either stay down there with an anchorage or they'll come back the same day. I'm not sure what their plans are, but yeah, not a bad little setup here. Okeechobee, I think I've got that right, Okeechobee Lodge, right at the entrance to the Baie Fine channel. Look at that, there's a Robinson helicopter parked right on the shoreline there. Maybe it flew some people out to their boat here. God, there's some big boats down here. I'm amazed. Look at the size of this one. That's huge. just a little channel here in between two big rock piles, one being the mainland, the other being an island. Can I get through here? It's a bit shallow, but I think we can make it. Yeah, we're through. So, we've got some beautiful scenery ahead. This is supposed to be the longest freshwater fjord in the world. Now, they call it a fjord, but you see, it only gets about that high all the way down. To me, a fjord kind of has like more cliffs on each side, but they do call it a fjord, so I don't know, we'll see. And it just goes all the way down there. So the story goes of Baie Fine that a guy by the name of Ralph Evinrude, who was the inventor of the Evinrude motor, and his wife, who was a movie star from I think the 30s or 40s, Frances Langford. I know that name doesn't mean anything now, but apparently she was a star back then. They had a great big boat, and they used to come up here all the time to Baie Fine. And they'd go down Baie Fine with this great big massive yacht that they had. And I think we're talking the 40s. I'm not 100% sure of what time frame this was, but I think it was into the 40s, maybe the 50s. And they would come down this Baie Fine with their big yacht, and they would park down at the very end of Baie Fine in an area called the Pool. And there's an island down there, and they would tie this great big boat to the island. Eventually they had a home on that island, and the story is that they used to power electricity on that home on the island from the engines and the generators on board their big motorcraft, their big boat. So the inventor of the Evinrude motor used to come up here all the time into the area of Baie Fine. Just not sure what the time frame of that was. If you know, leave a comment and let us all know. It is so kind of overcast up in front of me. It's almost like it's smoke in the air. It's kind of a haze right down onto the water, but I don't see smoke at all. But it kind of looks like smoke in the air where it's kind of obliterating the sun a little bit. If you look straight up, it's kind of bright. But if you look down here, it's kind of looks like smoke on the water. Speaking of the Deep Purple song. But I don't smell smoke at all. You'd think if there was that much smoke that thick in front of me, you'd smell it. So maybe it is still just kind of a haze that hasn't burnt off. When I stopped at that Tim Hortons earlier this morning, I grabbed an extra coffee. And I threw that coffee into my thermos, into a little container I've got in there, and I think it's time for a shot of coffee. Where's that thing? Yeah. I wonder if it's still hot. Let's try it out. Feels warm. Whoa, Jesus, kind of exploded. Warm is the word. It's not hot, but it's coffee. That's something I don't do very often, is have coffee out on the sea. Usually it's a cold drink or something, but this morning I just thought, I'm at the Tim Hortons already at the drive-thru. I'll grab an extra sandwich that I can throw in the cooler. I can have that later on today. And get an extra coffee, throw it into this thing, and see if it keeps it warm for the rest of the day. I don't think it will, but for now it's not too bad. I don't know if I'm halfway down there now or not. Take a look at the map here. Let me zoom out a bit. Yeah, I'm halfway. I'm over halfway. I'm there. Just got to go down to there, and then there's a little channel that goes down to an area called the Pool. Getting used to using that Garmin, by the way, now. I figured out now how to, touch the map somewhere, set a point on the map, and then hit auto guidance, and it'll connect a route for me to get to where I want to go to. There's a lot more I got to learn about this Garmin yet, but I've started to get some of the basics now of how to lay a route out into the actual Garmin map and then have it route me there. What I haven't figured out yet is I've got a bunch of routes that I've got on here on Navionics. How do I get all of those routes from there onto the Garmin? Like, there's a whole bunch of trips that I've laid out on Navionics that I'd now like to get entered into the Garmin so I can just call up the route on the Garmin when I'm on a particular lake or whatever, and it'll just guide me. Haven't figured out how to do that yet. More research required. Okay. Yeah, I'd say we're probably 3/4 of the way down the bay now. We'll get down into the end, we'll maybe fly the drone a bit down there, and then we'll go up into that little narrower channel. This channel, which you can see is quite a ways across, will then really narrow into a little thing that'll take you up to, as I said, there's an area called the Pool, where the Evinrude home was on an island in the middle of the pool. I don't know if that's the original home that's still there, or whether it's something that's been built on that island over the years. But anyway, we'll show you that when we get up there. This is really a unique little setup here, like a suspension bridge that they have built that goes across to the guest house. These are guests you don't like a lot. You put them on the guest house over here in the guest house, and then you drop the suspension bridge or something. The guest house is just tiny. The suspension bridge would have cost way more money than the little guest house there. Look at this thing. This is quite the contraption. Wow. Then the main house is just over there. I wonder how long that's been there. That's kind of neat. So we are just about at the end of Baie Fine. Look at that beautiful rock. Look at the colors in it. Wow. That is so pretty. The water just drops right off here off the edge, nice and deep. So that there, right in front of me, is the little entrance to the pool, which is maybe a 1/4 kilometer up there, something like that. I suspect we're going to see some boats parked in that anchorage in the pool once we get up a little bit further. I would say it took me, I don't know, 40 minutes stopping here and there, not even an hour, to get all the way down from the entrance to Baie Fine to the very end of Baie Fine. So it doesn't take all that long, especially on a Sea-Doo. I mean, I'm doing 45, 50K coming all the way down here, so you can move pretty quickly. But that's the entrance, so it's on the left-hand side as you're heading towards it. There are some boats down here. There's one over there, another one back over here. A lot of these boats have American flaggage on them, so there's a lot of people from the States that are up in here. And right ahead of me, don't know if you can see it, there's 1, 2, 4 loons. See if I can get up a little bit closer. They're making all kinds of noise. Don't want them to dive. Oh, yeah, they're already diving. Yeah, they just all dove. So that there is the little island in the pool. This area right around in here is what they call the pool. This is as far as you can go. This is the very end. And that little island there and that house that's on there is the house that was owned by Ralph Evinrude of the Evinrude Outboard Motor Company. And they used to come up here in their great big 120-foot yacht and tie up right there. So I don't know if that's the same house, the original house, but that is the island, and that is where they used to tie up and dock their 120-foot yacht when they used to come up here. There's another boat in there now. I don't know who that is. I've pulled in there before and parked there and flown the drone from there. Might end up doing that again. We'll see. I don't know what the story is now, whether these people own it or whether it's, I don't know, not sure. But this is the pool right here at the very end of Baie Fine. And then up over there, up and over that hill, there's a hiking trail that will take you up to an area called Lake Topaz. Beautiful kind of blue crystalline water up in that area. And as I thought, there are several boats in here that are moored in here. Quite a few back there in the pool, a few more over here. This guy's just coming in with his big sea ray. At least I think that's a sea ray. And there's the house on the island right there. So we're still going down the channel that way. The entrance or the exit is, depending which way you're coming, is just out around the corner down there. Let's keep going. There's a sign over here. What does the sign say? Danger, submarine cable. Submarine cable. A cable attached to a submarine? Did they mean to say submerged cable or submarine cable? I don't see it in the water. Seems like weird terminology, doesn't it? A submarine cable? Submerged cable, I think is what they meant to say. So once you get out of that little channel, the Baie Fine channel, it opens up again. And again, look how hazy it is out here. So strange, like it just looks like smoke, but there's no smell of smoke, so that's very weird. Anyway, we're gonna head down that way towards Killarney. I've put in a waypoint so I can follow that auto routing guidance to get me all the way down over towards Killarney. I just sort of put a mark down in that area. Then once I get there, I'll put another mark where I am to get to Killarney. Yeah, strange out here, just so hazy, and yet up above, it seems blue. Weird, but no smell of smoke. Could be that it's just in the air and hanging, but it's from so far away that maybe there is no smell to it. I don't know. Lots of big boats out here on the water. There's a lot of loopers out here, those doing the great loop. So I'm using a new camera today because I've had some difficulties with the microphones on the other camera. The Rode 4 fell into the water on the last week's video. So this week I'm using a new camera. I'm using this little DJI mini mic with the DJI, whoops, got to keep the microphone over here, with the DJI Action 4 microphone, and it's a Bluetooth connection. So that's what I'm using today. And the only thing about it is that when you start recording, it takes like 10 seconds or so for the camera and the microphone to pair up. If you leave the camera on continuously, they're always paired. But every time I turn the camera off from a recording and turn it back on, it takes 10 or 15 seconds for the microphone to connect. And that's a bit of a pain. So you got to shoot for 10 or 15 seconds and then you have audio for the microphone. I don't know. It's not a great system. I don't like it. I'm going to have to get a new Rode microphone to replace the one I dropped in the water. So you can see it's nice and calm out here, but it's a long way down there. It's at least 10, 12 kilometers down there. I probably got another several kilometers to go down this way. This would not be a fun trip if this water was rough. If there was wave action out here and you're fighting your way all the way down here, this would not be fun, particularly on a sea-doo. So you want to make sure if you do this trip, the weather conditions are good. This, doesn't matter if it's cloudy so much, but you want to have calm water. Otherwise, you're going to have a very, very rough ride, because there are a couple of bigger open bodies of water that you've got to cross. Particularly when you want to go down to Killarney, there's bigger bodies of water out there, and if it's blowing, it's going to be rough. But right now, look at this, pretty much like glass out here. And it's supposed to stay this way till like 4 this afternoon and then pick up a little bit. But by 4 or 5 o'clock, I'm going to be off the lake. I should be back from where I launched from. Killarney, just up that way. Look at this, it's just one after another. This is how busy it is now. Everybody wanting to get back out on the water. Killarney Mountain Lodge is just up here. Well guys, I think I'm going to wrap up this Yukon Bob video right here on the water in Killarney Channel. It's been a great day. The water has stayed pretty calm for the whole day for the most part. Temperatures have been nice, bit of a haze in the air today, but really glad I got out and made this trip. I spent one extra day up in this area to make this trip. Had a motel room the other night. Still coughing a bit. Had a hotel room the other night, motel room along the Trans-Canada Highway, and then went out and made this trip today so I could show you guys this area, including Baie Fine, the pool, and Killarney Harbor. It's just a beautiful ride as long as the weather is cooperating and it's not too windy, because there is some open water you've got to cross, and that wouldn't be a lot of fun if it was choppy. But for me today, it's been just beautiful. It's been very, very calm, and I think it's going to be calm all the way back. I'm going to wrap the video up here in Killarney Channel, put the camera gear away, and just enjoy the ride back to the launch point at McGregor Landing. So Thanks for coming along on this one. Thanks for all the comments. Do comment if you've got some questions, concerns, or thoughts on the trip. I'd love to hear the comments. I will see you guys somewhere out on the water around Southern Ontario in the next Yukon bot video. Till then, stay safe on the water, and bye for now.